Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today we're going to be working on the Disney Dollhouse Stage 30, and this is from Hachette, and I have the French version. So let's go ahead and open it up, and what we see is we've got the table for Winnie Lorson or Winnie the Pooh, and the window for the Mickey Mouse room. So let's start getting stuff out. We got some butterflies. Believe this becomes a kite later on. And here's the table, and it looks like these are actually wood pieces, which I love it when they actually do wood parts in wood. And then there's the window. That is all that is in this box. Looks like a very small stage, but I've looked through the book. There's a lot going on. So let's go ahead and get to it. Well, actually, before we go ahead and get to it, let's go through and make sure we have all the pieces. And hope I'm dreading the time when I come across something that I don't have a piece for, because since I bought this from a person, I don't know if Hachette will replace parts or not. So let's see, we've got that. Nice. We already have the window assembled. Both windows are assembled with the clear plastic in there. And you can see it's a little bit foggy, but you can also see there's a wrinkle there. There we go. That's going to come apart, and then we're going to glue that. We have the two side pieces, the two middle pieces. So we have all of the parts for the window. Go ahead and open the table parts. And I'm going to leave the kite parts alone because I think, like I said, I think the kites is actually done in the next stage. There is the knob for the drawer on the table. Let me grab one of these. We'll go ahead and put that little knob into the little aluminum pan. That way we don't lose it. We'll put that up here. So we have the tabletop underneath, side rails, the drawer face. Very interesting. It doesn't appear to go all the way through. So it's not an actual drawer, it's just a decoration. Other side rails, legs, and this looks like it is the top table bottom. And then, like I said, we have the looks to be a kite. We have the skin for the kite. We have the tail pieces. We have the string, and we have the frame. We're going to set that up there and leave that for later. So first thing it has you do is go ahead and cut these parts apart. They're showing using a craft knife. Just looking, because I do a lot of wood modeling, I know that you want to be a little bit careful. Okay, let me go ahead and use the scalpel and see if that'll cut through here, because I don't want to damage the sides at all. It seemed to go through pretty easily there, but with wood you can get splintering. Of course, the scalpel is not the strongest knife I have. I've actually broken the scalpel handle, or a scalpel handle. I just realized, make sure I'm in camera. So that's working a little bit. Let's use the heavier blade for right now. That has gone. I've got a good start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this chisel blade instead. Because the chisel blade you can set in there and launch the part across the room. Not really, just bounced off of me onto the floor, but you can see it was actually a pretty good cut. Just looking. Okay, that's how that's going to go together. These are going to need to be sanded down because the legs are going to have to go in there. So let me go ahead and pause. I'm going to pause the camera. While I'm paused, I'm going to go ahead and get this taken off and get those pieces cleaned up. So I will be back in just a minute. Okay, they are separated, and they actually identify in the instructions as part. These ends are part B and part A. Double check. Yeah, part B being attached to the spot without the drawer, part A being attached to the part with the drawer. Set them up like this. They sand them, and then the next thing you do is you add glue. Let me go ahead and get this piece because that's what we're going to be gluing it onto. I don't know for sure if it says white glue, wood glue, super glue. I'm not going to use super glue on this. Wood glue should be just fine. We're just going to add a bead right here. And I don't think it matters really, those end pieces, which one you use where, as long as you get them all identical. And it's kind of interesting because they show this as having paint on only one side. So I'm going to set this down here. Let me go ahead and bring over the purple mat so that I don't inadvertently put glue on the brand new mat. That would make me sad. Let's pull these away out of here so I can get this mat in. So we'll get this on here, get it lined up. Like that. Yeah, it wobbles a little bit. And you can see a little bit, the glue does seep out, but that's going to be underneath inside where you cannot see it. The key thing is to make sure that your corners are good. What I'm going to do for that is I'm going to push the leg into the corner after I put the piece on. Then I'm going to move on to the next one. I'll do that on the next couple of pieces as well. So I'll set this one on here like this. Right now it is off and there's the glue. So we'll set this piece into the corner there, push this, or we'll set the leg into the corner, push that piece against it, and then we'll move on to the next one. Like that. Set this on here. Push the leg in. As long as I glue all this together without letting it sit there and dry, we'll be fine. Finally, the last one. Move that glue down a little bit. Set this in here, making sure that I have it lined up to where I can get the legs. Oop. That wasn't good. Slide this leg on here, slide this leg on here. That one's still off. There's the reason. This piece was actually off a little bit. As is this one. There we go. Ah, and then I not just ripped that one off. So let them sit for a second. It says to now take this, the drawer knob, put a little dot of glue on it, and then put it into the hole. It's more than a little dot. It's a lot of glue there. Ah, it's falling apart. Okay, let's redo. Let's get the knob in there first, then we'll get those back on. Now apply glue on here instead because I think it was catching on the edge. That's why, also why I prefer wood glue over the white glue. The white glue will grab, but not near as quick as the wood glue. And super glue, if you put it in the wrong spot, you're just done. Okay, we'll set that down. Next thing I want you to do is to glue this piece, and all this piece is a positioning tile, basically. Move these legs over here. You have marks on the bottom of the table, on the bottom of the tabletop, and you position this in place. That way, when you put the table, the underside of the table on, it's going to go into where you put, it's going to only fit in the one spot. Means you got to let this dry a little bit more because you don't want it to be moving all over the place. A little bit of glue, take this. So I'm going to go ahead and set this in place. And you know, it's going to be not exact no matter what you do. That looks good to me. You can barely see those lines there. You can't see these ones. To me, that's good enough. It should be good to be able to put this on. We're just going to put a little drop of glue or bead of glue across the top. And by the way, this is actually grabbing a little bit better now that I put the glue on the underside here. I do have to say, and I compare the Moment House and the Disney House quite a bit. It is nice that they included the drawer. It's also reasonable that the drawer doesn't open because you're not going to be opening these drawers and putting stuff in. Moment House, they give you actual drawers. You build the drawers. It can be a little bit of a pain. It's kind of neat, but once the drawers are in place, they're never going to be opened again. It's not wanting to go down. There we go. Actually, it did grab the positioning tile did grab really well. So now turn the page just to make sure. Yeah, you put the positioning tile on there. Then they've got you putting glue in here in the four corners, and then you set this aside to dry, and it's done. So a little bit of glue on each face in here. And since I'm going to put it aside, this will actually set up really nicely. Hopefully the legs are all exactly the same size and I won't have any problems with a wobbly table. Don't have any scale magazines to put under the corner of the table. we're going to slide leg in there, leg in there, one there, bump this one, knock it off, push these all in completely, and there is the table for the Winnie the Pooh room. So we're going to set this over here and let it set. And I'm going to pause the camera for a second while I get a cup of coffee, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing it says to do is to peel the plastic, the protective plastic off of these windows. Let's go ahead and move this up. I'll work on the pad, on the cutting mat, which will actually keep me from being off camera. Come on. This one does not want to come loose. These look to be identical. That doesn't mean they are, but I'm pretty sure they're at least close. So let's bring these over. Looking they look exactly the same, but they have in the instructions labeled, one labeled as interior, one labeled as exterior. I'm going to press on with the belief that they are identical until it proves me wrong. Trying to not put a whole lot of fingerprints on the plastic. Let's see what happens if I put this. I'll push this down in here. Then maybe I can peel this. You can see it's not wanting to come off very cleanly. Starting, there we go. Wow. This side does not want to come loose. Now that I got it. Very clear window. Let's get rid of these two pieces here. We'll do the same on this one, but before I set it into the window, before I peel one side completely, I'm going to get both sides loose. I will tell you, this would be a royal pain had I just done my, clipped my fingernails. I have done this before. Clipped my fingernails and then the next day had to work on something like this. So one side sticks pretty well. The other side is starting to come. Okay, yeah, one side sticks really well. The other side comes off pretty, not easily, but not too hard. So there's those. Let's go ahead and set this into place. We have the other window. Sorry, I looked up and saw that did not, didn't go into focus really well. And so what we have here, I'm looking to see if there's any identifying marks. There are not. But what we have here on each corner is there's a little point. I'm going to very carefully, actually I think instead of putting glue on those points, I'm going to put glue into the holes that they go into. It's going to be a little bit easier to not end up with glue on the acrylic sheet. almost out of super glue here. Take my pin vise here, very carefully put just a little drop of glue into each corner. Put a little bit of glue on my finger as well, that's always good. I'm almost willing to bet that this would go together without glue at all. But I would prefer to glue it than to have these windows fall apart. So very carefully, not wanting to get glue onto the clear window or glue myself to the window itself. There we have the first window. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to slide against each other, with this being the interior between the windows. So put a little drop of glue in each corner here. There's 3. There's the 4th one. And I recently learned something. It's going to be a hard habit to break. Todd over at HTM on a stream with Jordan looked up if there was anything wrong with burning your super glue off of your pin vise, and it turns out there is. I think I've done it on my videos before. If I have, I apologize if I've taught you a bad habit. Like I said, it's going to be a habit that it's hard for me to beat. When you burn the super glue, you release cyanide gas. Okay, so, okay. All it says is, this is the interior view, this is the exterior view. So you're going to put the seams on towards the inside. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these 4 pieces and we're going to glue them together with the tracks. You got tracks here. The tracks are going to go on the inside. Let me just see. Yeah, that's what I figured. Do not want to get ahead of yourself here. They only fit together, or they should only fit together one way. Key thing here is you want to make sure there are little pins on each part. Where'd it go? Okay, there's a pin there. So you want to put these together like this. Actually fits together nicely, pushes together nicely. You're going to put a drop of glue, not a lot, just enough, because you don't want to push the windows in there and then have them get stuck. Put a drop of glue in there like that, and then you're going to push this together. It will set pretty quick. It is super glue. And then on the other side, you want to make sure you've got the pin facing up. All my pins are facing up right now. I'm going to do the same thing here. Put a little bit of glue around the post, the alignment post. That right there is your alignment post. At least that's what I'm calling it. So you're going to set this on here. And I just noticed something. Get this on here. Set that down here. Just notice something. This side is a little bit bigger than the other side. So let me go ahead and, oops, I flipped back. this tab here is going to be to the outside. So you want to put your outside to this outside piece to the outside there. Ah, okay. So you got the track, you got your track here. You want to put your first window into that track. No, that's the wrong way. Why does it feel like either way is the right way? Okay, they've got this going all the way up here, because I'm guessing this is going to end up being the stationary window. So let me take a look at the text that I just got, and I'll be right back. Okay, next thing I need to do after dealing with the text was just my wife asking a question. Next thing I need to do is go ahead and glue this, the bottom part on. And I did already check the first window I put in there is good. And again, double check where your pins are. Make sure you put them on the right side. Because if you don't have them in the right place, you're not going to be able to put the window frame together. The glue, to be honest, is just a formality here, because I don't know if you heard the click, but it clicks in there really well and really solid. Let me double check. That's what I thought. So the next thing, or the last thing that we have to do, is this is going to go into the house. This is going to be the outside. This window is going to get set in here like this, and then we're going to glue this panel on like that. So let me pause the camera again, move things out of the way. And it does say right here, we're holding on to this for a later stage, but I have a lot of room to make because the house is pretty significantly large. So I will be right back. Okay, got the house over here, and you can see it is huge right now. The camera is about 2.5 foot up, and it does not get the whole house in, and I can't move the house any further over. But we'll do what we can. There is the window. What we're going to do actually is I'm moving one of the cameras I've got right now. I'm going to see if I can get a good picture on it. I need a new bench for this. Okay, I am looking at the right spot. It's kind of funny because they don't show the outside. I have numbers. Actually, let's show you what I'm looking at. I have numbers on the outside here, and you can see that the house, the window is right here. So let me double check. Yeah, it goes in here. Come on. Like this. And eventually there will be siding on the outside. It will not look like this. And then this window will sit in here. This one I don't think. This one I know has things to block it from moving. This one. What's blocking me? I believe the window. Oh, okay. There are double hung windows. You can either open the top or the bottom, but I'm not going to mess with it right now because I don't want to screw things up, but you can open the window like that. But for right now, let's go ahead and put this back down here. And what they have you do is put glue on the pins. does say that it does show it's double hung window. It says to put glue on the pins. What I'm going to do is I am going to put this up a little bit like this so that these pins won't grab it. I've got to be careful up here not to get the glue on the window. And again, instead of putting it on the pins, I'm going to put it into the, let me switch cameras, I'm going to put it into the holes on the frame. Maybe. That's just for grins. Isn't that okay? I thought it was dirty, or I thought it was there was damage there. Yeah. Struggling a little bit to get these pins to go into place. Careful not to put my hand in the super glue. You know what? Let's see. That moves. That one moves. Actually, kind of interesting with the top one open. It actually pops it open enough to where this one moves freely. Okay. Okay. We're not going to mess with that, but I'm just checking. I'm going to go ahead and switch back over. I'm just checking, and I looked at it, and there is no glue on these pins. And I think I'm going to try doing it that way, because this is going to be a display piece only. So it's better that the windows are loosely installed to where maybe they could possibly fall out. And if they do, I'll glue it later. But there's going to be something that goes over top of here. This was put in from this side, so this is not going to fall out this way once the siding is on. I'm not going to mess with gluing the inside frame on. It is in place. It does, right here, it does have a little bit of a wiggle. Hang on. Yeah, that's not going to go down any further, but only that corner. So let's see. Maybe if I put this the other way, there's nothing there that should be precluding it from going all the way home. But we'll try turning this interior frame around. Oops. That's still a little bit. Yeah, see, this one does not go all the way down, but less likely, you can see there a little bit of shuffle, less likely to have any problems with it over there. There's a little bit of a, you can see where they cut it off the sprue there, very minor. But I think I'm going to leave it that way rather than the other way around, just so that it looks better. And I love the way the window looks. Matter of fact, instead of the outside, if I can get the camera around here, kind of, I don't want to make you guys seasick by jockeying the camera around. But there, you're looking out through the window. I think that looks fantastic. So that's all there is to do in stage What stage was this? 30? Yes. Stage, issue, pack, whatever you want to call it. But that's everything for pack 30 of the Disney Dollhouse. There's the table. Table looks fantastic. Kind of a retro table. But I'm very happy with the way things are going. Like I said, that's all there is to do in this issue. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. Hit the bell icon to be notified of any time I post new videos. Hope you're enjoying it. I am loving this build. This is a very well engineered build. I'm very pleased that I'm able to do it. Thank you for stopping by. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next video or stream.
Model mania, partwork models, plastic modeling, wooden models. Workman's model mania, partwork models, plastic modeling, wooden